It was an interesting story about Jack and Jill. My mom wanted to teach me. I had a hard time learning. I had a hard time reading Jack and Jill. I learned how to read late. I was about 8 or 9 when I learned how to read. My mom tried to teach me, and it felt like it was a waste. My mom tried to tell me the story about Jack and Jill and all the characteristics, and she wanted to act it out, to do a performance about Jack and Jill to help me understand it. We had acted it out numerous times. We even had our own pail. We went up the hill, fell down the hill, broke our crown, as the story goes. And we had performed it a million times. When I was in first grade, I was mainstreamed. There was no interpreter. Everything just flew over my head. When I was in third grade, around there, we moved from Milwaukee to Fort Wayne, Indiana. I was mainstream there. Oral was very encouraged there. I was about 7, 8 years old. I was mainstream by myself. There were no other deaf children, so I didn't have anybody to communicate with. It was very much oral. I didn't have any exposure to the language. I didn't have any deaf friends. That year we moved again to Colorado. I repeated third grade again. I had to repeat third grade again. My mom noticed that my English skills were declining. I had I had no one to play with. I also had hearing aids, which I hated. They were awful. It was forced on me. I couldn't hear anything, but other people could. It was loud. It bothered other people because they could hear the noise, but I couldn't hear anything, so it didn't really bother me. One day we were driving to the store, and my mom was driving, and I was sitting in back of her. As my mom was driving, she adjusted her rearview mirror and looked at me in the mirror and waved at me and smiled. I smiled back. As we were smiling at each other, I rolled down my window and threw my hearing aids out the window and rolled my window back up. My mom and I kept smiling. My mom didn't know. My mom was mad. She was searching and searching. They were really expensive hearing aids. And I said, I don't know what happened to them. My mom was very upset with me.